Tuesday, the 4th of May. Welcome to Proclamation News and Gatherence, back with a brand new edition. This is officially the new media, the new stream. Thank you all for coming through. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new era. I was long in the tooth, wise in the wisdom. I've got time and forbearance. I've got integrity. I've got optimism. I'm enthusiastic. Make sure you stay tuned. Look at the ideology of the world. The ideology of the world. Let's talk about the ideology of the whole world. What could we survive on with very little of? We need buildings, don't we? We need buildings. We need infrastructure. We need national resources. We need fishermen. We need fisheries. We need farming. There's lots of things we could live without, but you know, we need our nutrition to stay motivated. Thank you all for being there. I really appreciate all you guys. Come on. This is Proclamation News and Gatherence. Make sure you join our show. Make sure you subscribe to Proclamation News and Gatherence. Welcome on board all the watchers and listeners. Head of the week, we've got Billy Joe Saunders. Is boxing. He's a homegrown middleweight boxer. He's a traveller. A lot of people will write him off, but a lot of people don't see what he does, not just inside the ring, what he does outside the ring. Boxing to me is politics. As I was an ex-boxer, media studies was my first love in 1996. I've done media studies and obviously arts and humanities in my older generation. I'm a mature student in university. I mean, you come in my live, it's phenomenal the way I approach the audience. I'm very, very enthusiastic. I'm also, you know, it's something I do every day. I do this every single day of the week, 7 days a week. I do this. You don't see me live like this before because I've just got, it's kind of like a promotion, how I can promote myself to the audience. I'm not just tackling politics, I'm tackling knife crime. Youth for today going to school with a blade in their bag, a blade in their pocket. Maybe the parental responsibilities needs to come upon the horizon. Checking your children's school bag before they go to school. Educating your child, do not use a weapon. I never once picked up my blade and attempted to use it. Never in my life would I go to school and think, I got bullied yesterday, I'll take a knife to protect myself. Even if I had 5 or 6 boys in the playground to set up on me, I was born to look after myself. Make sure you share as well. Share, subscribe to Proclamation News and Gatherence. We've got a YouTube channel as well, you listeners. We've got listeners coming from Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all over the globe, because Proclamation News and Gatherence is absolute populism. I mean, who could have thought of a name called Proclamation News and Gatherence? It takes optimism, doesn't it? I'm a walking, talking human faculty. I talk off the cuff. I memorise what I was talking about yesterday. I was talking about the UNICEF yesterday. We support United Kingdom, the politics in the United Kingdom, the government sector support £60 million into UNICEF a year. You know, like for the poor, UNICEF is like the poor kids in poor countries like Haiti, Venezuela, some of the lowest, poorest countries in the United Kingdom. And we stick 60 million usually a year into UNICEF to support them children. But it's funny though, because Beijing, we pump over, I think it's over 80 million into Beijing. We brought it down for something like 200 million a year into Beijing. Beijing is in China, you know, the strongest economic worldwide country that we have in worldwide. China is the richest country, and we're pumping money into Beijing. Why are we pumping money into Beijing and not places like Haiti, not places like Venezuela, these poor children? Even you see South Africa. I mean, Africa is quite a rich country. I don't know why they got so much of a public austerity in southern areas of South Africa. They got water drought. They got children dying on the side of the road, and parents as well. First of all, in South Africa, I don't know if you study South Africa or looked on the internet. I mean, it's been part of my study, my research through my education. South Africa, you see, first of all, you see their dogs dying at the end of the road while they're waiting for a pail of water to come by a lorry to drop off for their families. They die. The dog dies of dehydration. Then it'll be the mother, father, children, all die at the side of the road waiting to be fed and watered. Starvation and dehydration. So, you know, it's not times like this when you think how lucky we are to still be here. You know, despite the COVID in India at the moment is, you know, it's rising massively, and that's why we're deporting COVID vaccines out there. So we've got to think how lucky we are. Some of us are so naive and stupid and don't want to take the vaccine. But I've seen close friends with their loved one losing their loved ones to COVID. You know, you really got to think to yourself, let's go and get this vaccination. Well, worth getting a vaccination, isn't it? Absolutely. Anyway, yeah, I want to get back into boxing. Let's get back into boxing. I mean, that sport for me was a bit of a ludicrous idea, really. I had a brain injury when I was 18 in 2002. Very courageous to get in the ring, but I was doing it to help support my children. Help one of my last sons had 4-limb cerebral palsy, so I highlighted my whole boxing career towards funding a lot of equipment. I didn't get as much support as a lot. I was emailing all these boxers to try and give me signed boxing gloves to help me fund my little boy's equipment, which we did. Me and my ex-wife and my friends, all my friends that support me in my boxing career, helped me massively, tremendously. It was remarkable, very prodigious, which means, yes, remarkable. Thank you ever so much, all my friends that are listening. You know, it's not just talking about boxing day in day out. It's not what I do anymore. I come off that. I'm on more on some politics. We're going to talk about boxing to keep you guys entertained. I just want to say thank you for everyone that supported me over the years to help me up where I am today. Believe me, I've had it hard. You know, split of ex-partner. I moved away from my family. I got myself in university. I knuckled down, got myself in adult learning. So, you know, if you've got new aspirations, new heights, new gains that you want to gain yourself, you're sick and tired of your job, your 9 to 5 job, get yourself in university. There's new heights, new gains. You want to work on progression. You know, you've got success, you've got vision. Go and grab that vision with both hands and, you know, get into adult learning. Adult courses such as ICT, ECDL. You know, I think there's any computer skills, digital skills courses in computers just to help you get into business. This is basically my business, you know, supporting the democracy. I'm talking about criminology within the UK. Supporting not just myself, your children, your niece, your nephew, your grandchildren. You know, supporting the elderly. Because a lot of these victims on the road are usually vulnerable drivers driving within the legal road users guide. Then you've got people driving under the influence of alcohol and narcotics, acting inappropriately, incompetent, incomprehensible. No need for it. Absolutely no need for it. So supporting Proclamation News and Gatherence, we're going to get the message across the whole of social media. And you guys can, if you like, to help support me, share it on the Spotted in Clacton, Spotted in Colchester, Spotted in London, wherever you are in the Dominion of the UK. Support Proclamation News and Gatherence. You know, mugs carry weapons as well. There's a lot of sporadic knife crime been going on in Essex just recently. I've been reading the Essex Live. So much knife crime going on in our constituency in Essex. Absolutely. You know, it's ludicrous. Why? I mean, how brave is it to pick up a weapon and stick it in someone's chest or in their arm? You know, hit an artery in their body. You've got arteries all over your body. It takes one slip of a blade and kill. How stupid, how ironic, how disturbing, how distraught it's leaving families. You know, you really, really need to, you know, it makes a difference to getting the word about through Proclamation News and Gatherence. This is what I do daily. So you support me, help sharing, help subscribing. The more I build up Proclamation News and Gatherence, the better. I'm also going to be doing some free giveaways with my art souvenirs. I've got loads of art souvenirs to be giving away for people helping, supporting our channel. We need to build this, not just in our county, but internationally. You know, I've got people tuning in from USA. I've got, how many listeners I've got now? Not just from what you're watching in on through my monitor. I'm on Up Live TV, which I've got about 500 people there. I'm on Castbox. I've got 10 people listening there, and I've got 3 people listening through my Proclamation News and Gatherence, which is on social media right now. 3 listeners there. Thank you ever so much. You can comment and interact, I believe, but just trying to see where the chat is. No one in the chat, but you can chat here. Oh, the Facebook people can't chat on there, unfortunately. I don't know why. You have to get on my YouTube channel, which is Proclamation News and Gatherence, if you want to chat, I believe. Oh, no. Yeah, need to subscribe to my YouTube. If you want to chat, you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're going to start moving on in today's climate of UK politics and whatever else lies ahead of us. Yesterday, I was reading a guy bought a double-decker bus for they renovated it for 17 grand. 2 of them. I think there was a homosexual couple. Like I say, sexuality's got nothing to. I'm not rubbing them up the wrong way. I'm just saying what it is. They bought renovated a double-decker bus. It got 2 pet goats on the top floor. Swimming pool is very, very unique. If you look on the Essex Live, you'll see the renovated double-decker bus. For you listeners in Essex, it's quite a phenomenal idea, actually. Saves a lot of money. You want to buy your first house? Well, think about renovating a double-decker bus. Very, very ironic, very peculiar, I must admit. Anyway, in Essex today, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep this going for a good hour. Me and my friend had a great conversation yesterday. You know, we've got so many people skills. I live a life of purgatory. We all have. You know, suffering in mental health. You're going to give up your day-to-day regime. Why are you going to give up your day-to-day regime? You know, have you been through life hurdles any worse than anyone else? You know, keep fighting, keep pushing yourself, keep going. Anyway, taxi lands on top of a Jeep after driver swerves to miss a cat. Police have said avoiding the action was impressive. The taxi crashed in early hours of Monday. A taxi driver managed to land his vehicle on top of a parked car after swerving to miss a cat. Pictures show the cab precariously balancing on 2 wheels on top of the orange Jeep following the crash in the early hours of bank holiday on Monday. Wow. You can actually see it on the Essex Live. If you guys want to check this out. Police said the motorist imagined to avoid a cat that was in the middle of the road along Shakespeare Street in Long Eaton, Derbyshire at 3:55 a.m. You know, it's things like this when you realise what the police getting calls at all kinds of hours of the day. It's you know, it's remarkable the response you get from the police. Even let's talk about Essex police. I know this is a bit Derbyshire is well out of our region, but you know, 3:55 a.m. they're working all 24 hours a day, and they do attend every scene. I've had a bit of a provocation. You know, we're talking about people breaching ASBO. It's not my job. I don't need it. This, you know, I'm working with democracy, just supporting the democracy. I don't need any provocations of monstrosity juveniles acting inappropriately. No need for it. On my days of fighting in the octagon, in the four squared circle, as they like to call it, my days are done of violence. I don't need to get involved. I don't need to even dip my foot in it. You know, I've proved what I was able of. I don't need to anymore. I'm a mature man. I'm staying mature, and this is my roots. And you guys can only but support me. Derbyshire Police Error Wash Response Unit said the driver has avoided hitting the cat, but ended up parking on top of a Jeep. Alongside images of an aftermath of the collision, they wrote, Long Eaton, early hours of this morning, nothing on the roads. Taxi driver swerves to avoid hitting a cat and ends up parking on top of the Jeep. Impressive. No injuries. Details exchanged. You can't park there, sir. Not your average RTC. Photos show both passengers' side wheels of the taxi driver in the air with the front tyre wedged directly on top of the bonnet of the car parked. Before I move on, actually, one web user commented, catastrophic accident and not a so perfect landing. People that's witnessed anyone driving under influence of alcoholism, narcotics, sleep deprivation, not insured, driving without a license. You know, you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously on 101, or you can send me a kind message to my Facebook or my email at proclamationnewsandgatherance@yahoo.com. I will put the report through with you. Give me the name of the number plate, the driver, and I'll report it for you. If you haven't got the minerals to report someone acting out, you know, inappropriate, incompetent, incomprehensible, to put our safety of our own children, our nieces, our nephews, our cousins, your mum and your dad, your grandfather, your nan, to put their life at safety, I'll do it myself, because I don't take lightly to, you know, idiots, monstrosity, all the walks of life acting inappropriately. Another adage: surely as a professional driver trusted with people's lives, the police should be referring this driver for further driving training. I mean, my kids have got 2 sets of nan and granddads, 2 sets. So if one of their nan or granddad got hurt at the wheel of driving due to people driving inappropriately and I haven't reported it, or you haven't reported it, that's your fault. That's your fault. So if you do hear of anything, make sure you send me an email. It's down to you, you know, to act up. Even children taking knives to school, weapons to school, needs to be reported. Again, you can hit me up at Proclamation News and Gatherence @yahoo.com. Make sure you do. It takes a man to put a scoundrel in prison. It takes a real man to put a scoundrel in prison. These idiots that do carry weapons, they should be put on community service under bare knuckle boxing for being a coward, for carrying a weapon. Turn them into a man. That's what they need to be. That's what they need to do with these cowards that carry weapons. That should be, you know, that should be mandatory. They've got to do it. They've got to do it. They've got no choice. You don't get community service cleaning horse muck out of a farm. You go and do bare knuckle boxing. You carried a weapon. You're a coward to go and try and take someone's life. You should be put on community service doing 30 hours of bare knuckle boxing. Then they'll learn. Only way they can learn. Only way they can learn. That's what they should do. Bring back traditional values. A third person wrote, "A cat, really. Something smells fishy to me." Another social media user said, "I bet the Jeep owner wasn't best pleased in the morning. Imagine waking up to a car parked on top of yours." One person added, "At least everyone was okay, the cat included." It would be, you would be very, very stressed out if taxi drivers land on top of your car. I know, but he was only trying to save the cat. But obviously, insurance purposes are going to pay for the damages, I'm pretty sure. But it's inconvenient. I totally understand where they're coming from. A woman jailed for life for murdering a friend, cutting up in a sex row. She murdered a friend in a sex row. My goodness. What are we talking about here? Men's rehabilitations. Criminology. Men's rehabilitations. Cut to kill. Absolute provocation. Another distraught incident where the police had to intervene. Another distraught incident where it's leaving a family loss of a life for their family member. Absolute provocation. Men's rehabilitations. Metropolitan Lunatic Asylum. There's not enough around for these juveniles to be put in. Happens, youth of today are going out, thinking they're big. They've had a couple of cans of Stella. They're going to go down the pub and pick on the next guy that, the guy that picked on him the day before. They're going to take a knife out and take his life. What a coward way out to go and take a pair of scissors and take someone's life. Gareka Gordon bought a circus saw online and put Phoenix Net's body in 2 suitcases. I mean, in America, it's gun crime. I mean, you can see why it's so easy to pull a trigger and kill, and it is to be, the audacity to pick up a 7-inch blade and put it in someone's heart and watch their eyes roll back in the head. You literally, physically, your face is literally millimeters away from their face, watching their eyes roll back in their head. What sort of a mental outbreak out surge is that to do that sort of action? You've got to be cold-blooded, cold-hearted. It's disgusting. A woman murdered her friend and dismembered her body after demanding a sexual relationship with her, a court has heard. A judicial has heard. Greta Gordon, 28, stabbed Phoenix Nets, also 28, at the property where they both lived in Birmingham on April the 16th last year. This is reported today. Bristol court heard Gordon stabbed Miss Net 4 times, causing fatal injuries before dismembering her body with a circular saw. With a circular saw. Gordon has been jailed. Anyone know what a circular saw is? Anyone know what a circular saw is? It's what you use to cut steel with, a circular saw. Gordon has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 23 years and 6 months at Bristol Crown Court for murdering Phoenix Nets and dismembering her body in Birmingham last year. After killing Miss Nets, Gordon set about deceiving her friends and family through text messages, emails, and voice messages that she was still alive and had moved to London. Gordon was arrested near Colford in Forest and Dean at about 11 p.m. on May the 12th last year, with officers finding her beside a quarry with 2 suitcases found to contain the remains of Miss Net. Don't forget, guys, I don't know if you guys are interested in politics, but politics is very, very important. If you want the safety of your family to be paramount, you need to vote for the right government to support your family. Support your family. You need to know a bit about politics. You need to know who you're voting for. May the 6th election is coming up. Defendant had previously pleaded guilty to Miss Net's murder days before she was due to stand trial. Opening the case of the prosecution, Andrew Smith, the QC, said Miss Net has told a friend in February that Gordon had demanded sex with her and become aggressive when she said no. Why do men feel, and not all men, sometimes it's women, why they feel the need to be aggressive if their partner says you can't have sex? I don't know. On April the 7th, maybe he thought she was playing away because she didn't want it. That's usually the way, isn't it? April the 7th, Miss Net sent a text message to a friend stating, "There's a girl here who keeps asking me to be sexual. I think I'm going to move back to London. It's scaring me." Miss Smith told Bristol Crown Court made a call to the Samaritans on April the 11th, in which she appeared tipsy. The clear focus on the call was Miss Gordon describing that she liked another woman and wanting to have sex with her, Mr. Smith has said. At one stage, Miss Gordon said either that her loins were warming up or were hot. The last known contact Miss Nets had was a phone call with a friend in the early hours of April the 16th. He attempted to bring her back the afternoon, but did not get through. Her phone was used to make internet searches, including how to fix punctured lung, internal bleeding, and can someone recover from getting stabbed between 5 minutes past 1 p.m. and 10 minutes past 3 p.m. that day, the court heard. A post-mortem examination found Miss Net had suffered 4 stab wounds to the front of her torso, but would not have died had she received prompt medical attention. Mr. Smith said the precise time which was stabbed injuries was caused is not known. He told the court that another woman living in a shared accommodation with Miss Nets, and Gordon heard noises of drilling and banging, as well as shouts for help me, on April the 16th. Following the murder, Gordon purchased a circus saw on Gumtree for £45, and it was delivered to the property shortly before 11 a.m. on April the 17th. Hey Jen, nice to see you, girl. Nice to see you. Mr. Smith said the post-mortem examination found the saw was used to dismember the body of Miss Nets when it was either clothed or particularly clothed. How you doing, Jen? Nice to see you come through. There's a friend of mine trying to call me while I'm doing my live. I just had to ignore the call. Hey, how's things in Canada, Jen? I hope you're well, mate. I hope you're well. Hope your husband's doing really well. Thank you for coming through and supporting the show. Going to move on to I'm very well, thanks, Jen. This is so much better. My social media, I'm hitting every single platform. Why am I live now? It's, you know, I wanted to broaden my horizon. I wanted to become absolute populism. I was quite big on Castbox and that, as you know. I'm just getting bigger and better, and hopefully more people are going to join in and see what's going on within the dominion of the UK, but and the world as well, to do bring politics in from across the globe. 1 billion UK-India trade deals will create 6,000 UK jobs, says PM. As you know, what's going on in India at the minute, we're not going to get into, you know, the broadsheet at the moment. Before we move on to the broadsheet, we're going to talk about, you know, what's upstairs. What do we acknowledge with India at the moment? The spike of COVID in India is horrific. You know, it's an extreme variant over in India, and it's one of our biggest globalization trading countries that we deal with as well, alongside with China. India, we have the grain of rice, clothes, batteries in your phone, you know, batteries probably coming from in your vapes, all kind of stuff we deal with electronically with India. Plus they take a lot of trading back from us as well. So this is why we're delving in to support India. India is close to home. We support India massively, and they support us massively. So you've got to take our hats off to the government for stepping in at this current climate to support them. But the worrying thing is, obviously, with globalization and COVID all over the world, when you're doing globalization trade deals, we're getting, if it's food, if it's clothes, or if it's anything mechanical made, or, you know, like devices, electronics, is the germ going to travel through packaging? We don't know. Is the COVID going to travel through the packaging as we do the trading? We can't cut off. There's no point cutting off our borders, because you need mobile phones, you need laptops to communicate, you need clothes to keep warm, you need food to survive. You can't be off it. So it's not, you can't get over it and you can't get under it. You can't be off it. Globalization is there. So if you're going to keep trading, then might as well just let the people on board on the plane, because it's no different, is it? Really, in reality, people can't be great ideas. Talk about the ideology of the world. The critical thinkers don't step back and take a thought of globalization when they're saying, "Oh, let's shut our borders." But what about the phone and clothes that you're going to buy from the shop? Where they come from? What about the fruit that you're going to buy in the, you know, in the fruit and veg store? Where do they come from? They're not all made in our farms. Bananas, things like that. You know, it's hard to crop all them luxuries that we have that keep us healthy. But anyway, Prime Minister has announced new trade and investment deals with India worth £1 billion. It includes more than 533 million of new investment from India in the UK, which is expected to create about 6,000 jobs. There's more jobs up for grabs. Anyone who's out of work, like I said, you know, you want to change direction. You want to change direction within your work. You're sick of being a carer. Maybe you're a carer. You're coming out of caring for your children. They're getting older now. You sort of walk to school and bring them back from school. They can do after school clubs, maybe a mother or a father, and you've got a bit of spare time to do a part-time job, but you need the key skills to get the job. Like I said, you can go and do digital skills, adult learning in the UK. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but digital skills, free courses if you're on government support, free courses, ECDL, European computer driving license, to get you in. Maybe you want to be like a PA, personal assistant. Maybe you want to work as a secretary. Maybe you want to, you know, be an assistant in a school, work in the school office. Anything like that. You know, you need the key skills, digital skills. You need the paperwork to say, look, I've done these courses. This is what I can do. I've got people skills. You know, I do my radar. This is my customer service skills. It's phenomenal, isn't it? You know, I'm very, very well spoken. I'm part of the Aristocracy Social Elite. I know what I'm talking about. When I'm the prodigious, the prominent Professor Johnson, I know what I'm talking about, because it's in my everyday text. That's why when I approach the audience, I've got confidence. I'm an enthusiastic person. I can emphasise my abilitations, absolutely. It includes more than 533 million in investment from India into the UK, which is expected to create about 6,000 jobs. Downing Street said the new partnership would pave the way for future UK-India free trade agreement. The economic links between our countries make our country stronger, safer, said Mr. Johnson. The deal announced ahead of the virtual meeting with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi includes a 240 million investment by the Serum Institute of India, which will support clinical trials, research and possibly the manufacturing of vaccines. Serum has already started phase 1 trials in the UK of a one-dose nasal vaccine for coronavirus in partnership with Genetics. Indian investment deals will create 1,000 new UK jobs, each at health and tech firms. Infosys spelled INFOSYS. If people are worried about my terminology, my phrase, that is actually how it's spelt and spoken. HCL Technologies and Emphasis. Some 667 UK jobs will be created at Q Rich Creations, 500 jobs at Wipro, and 465 at 12 Argo. Each and every one of the more than 6,500 jobs we'll have announced today will help families and communities build back from coronavirus and boost the British and Indian economies, said Mr. Johnson. Tip of an iceberg, they say. Trade Secretary Liz Truss. Elizabeth Truss, she's a phenomenal speaker. I don't know if any of you are parliamentarian goers. You go to the committee meetings. Elizabeth Truss, she's got a very, very well-spoken, well-mannerism, well-elegant voice. Trade Secretary Liz Truss told the BBC that jobs would be created within the next year or so. She said the commitments were very different from a free trade deal, with the government will start negotiating on this autumn. Discussions will include lowering tariffs, barriers and new agreements on digital and data. The announcement on 6,000 jobs is really the tip of an iceberg. Ms. Truss has said the trade between the UK and India is worth about 23 billion per year, and the government hopes to double that by 2030. What we need to do is get the huge tariffs removed on products like whiskey, which over 100% cars, which is over 100%. That is where real opportunities lie for us, she said. To do that, the UK is likely to have relaxed immigration rules between India and the UK, Ms. Truss is added. We've already made significant steps in improving the immigration regime, the post-study work visa. We've seen a massive rise in Indian students coming to the UK. Businesses' mobility is a key part of the trade, particularly as the UK and India are both very strong in services, like I was just saying well before we got to this point. You need to make sure that you're able to get your professionals over to the country, Ms. Truss has added. Long-term potential. In recent years, the UK has told more to Belgium or Sweden than India. But the government hopes that closer ties with one of the most populous and fastest growing major economies could have a huge long-term potential, especially as tensions with China mount. It believes that this is an announcement with the boost success to India for producers of British fruit and medical devices, and means investment in the UK from India's vaccine procedures. It is just a taste of what could be achieved. But economists warn that getting a full deal with Delhi that lowers tariff and non-tariff barriers won't be easier. India is likely, for example, to want UK entry visas requirements for its workers and students to be eased. Attempts by the European Union, Australia and New Zealand to strike free trade deals with India have all stalled. But as the nation grapples with the economic damage caused by the pandemic and the rising threat from China, it may now take a more pragmatic approach to brokering agreement. Meanwhile, British businesses have secured export deals with India worth more than 446 million, which are expected to create more than 400 British jobs. They include a 200 mil deal involving CMR Surgical, which will create 100 new UK jobs. The company's next generation versus surgical robotic system, which helps surgeons perform minimal access surgery, will be rolled out to hospitals in India. Trade between the UK and India is already worth around 23 billion a year, supporting more than 500,000 jobs, according to the government. Mr. Johnson said, in the decade ahead, with the help of a new partnership signed today and a comprehensive free trade agreement, will double the value of a trading partnership with India and take the relationship between our two countries to new heights. The visit cancelled. Mr. Johnson had been forced to cancel a planned visit to Delhi as it battles with the brutal second wave of coronavirus cases. The visit was designed to foster closer ties between the two countries and had first been scheduled for January. It was delayed after the UK's higher wave of COVID infections over winter. A 4-day trip was scheduled for April before being cut back to 1 day and Delhi. Before being postponed indefinitely last month, India subsequently added to the UK's travel red list. On Monday, authorities in Delhi called for help from the army. The government wants it to run COVID care facilities and intensive care units. Across India, case numbers since the start of the outbreak are closing in on 20 million. Its response to India's coronavirus surge, the British Asian Trust has raised more than 1.6 million in the last week through its emergency appeal. I just want to say something before we move on. Hello there, Hamid. Thank you all for coming in. Everyone staying observed and both preserved. You are now part of my Aristocracy Social Elite. Stand observe, understanding what I'm talking about is a phenomenal approach from a listener, a great observer. We heard in the newspaper, the observer. Well, that's exactly what you're doing. You're observing, using your observation skills to understand what is going on in today's current climate. The ideology of the world. You know, we 17th of May, we're going to start lifting restrictions. It's like letting monkeys out of a cage, isn't it? People are going to start acting. A lot of people are going to start acting. You see what it's like in. You've seen what it's like in what it's been like in London, in the centre of London, with things lifted slightly. Pub, you know, that's drinking a pub outside. The amount of people, you know, right close by and cuddling each other, drinking outside, acting stupidly. Ironically outrageous. It's not ironically. I knew it's coming. I've said it time and time again on my live. People, as soon as the restrictions start lift, people are like monkeys jumping out of the cage. Imagine a million monkeys locked in a cage and then let out into the world. They're going to be going AWOL as soon as they're out. And exactly what's happening with this COVID. They're taking restrictions off lightly, but they'll be lifting them off quite immensely on the 17th of May. You know, start travelling abroad. People are going to start gallivanting everywhere. Going to start getting drunk, kissing each other, cuddling each other, not having a care that you've got loved ones at home that you can take the COVID back to. You need to really think before you act. That's all I can say. Think before you act. Liz Truss, sleaze not coming up on doorstep. International trade sector, Liz Truss had said concerns about government contracts were not a key issue for voters she has spoken to. People more motivated to vote based on the vaccine rollout and the economic recovery plans. She suggested in an interview with the BBC Breakfast. We got May the 6th elections. You need to look up in your constituency and see who the Conservative. You've got the Conservative crime commissioners in your county. You've got the Conservative councillors in your county, Conservative mayor in your county. You need to see who's running for it, and then you need to vote. May the 6th election, make sure you make your vote. I think the polling stations are going to be open. I think the polling stations are going to be open. Make sure you get down to your polling station. Make it your priority, because your children's future should be your priority. So if you don't help shape up the government, then you don't care about your children's future. It's important that you understand what you're voting for, who you're voting for. It's important that you understand politics. Politics in everyone's everyday life. Who's building back better infrastructure? You might be the next, touch wood, you might not be, but you might well be the next cancer patient, or your child might have it in years to come, and you haven't gone down the road of supporting the government sector, the politics. That's where it all lies down to. Where's the money being spent? It all lies down to who's going to help build back better infrastructure. So use your initiative. Act now. I mean, people come in there, it's politics. What's the point of me acknowledging politics? I can learn politics elsewhere, but no one's going to give you the breakdown like I have. So, I'm talking. I've got critical thinking from a outsurge of Albert Einstein. Critical thinking to break it down to the likes of, I like to say, average community that's not really overly committed to politics. So I'll break it down so you understand where I'm coming from. Understand where politics is coming from. It's coming in everyone's everyday life. So make sure you engage your ears, engage your brain, take note. Who are you voting for and why? Where's the best infrastructure been dealt with, and what political region are you going to support? Obviously, mine has been Conservative for donkeys and decades. So that's me. That's going with traditional values of World War II and Winston Churchill and my granddad. I mean, that's nothing to do with your fact or phrase or opinion of political party phrase or whatever. Anyway, students want sexual consent test in university. The majority of UK students think there should be a compulsory test on understanding sexual content at the start of university, a survey suggests. The Higher Education Policy Institute survey found 58% of the students backed the idea of having to pass the test to show they fully understand consent. The university has faced warnings about sexual harassment on campus. The Everyone's Limited website has published anonymous accounts of students facing abuse of sex assaults. The think tank survey of 1,000 students found only a quarter felt they had been adequately prepared by sexual education in school to have a comprehensive understanding of sexual consent. There are particular concerns about understanding consent when alcohol and drugs were involved. Well, that's a case in many scenarios. The best advice is to educate your children away from alcoholism and narcotics. It's very, very hard when they get in different circles. Your parents are going to do the best by their children. The think tank survey says 1,000 students had found a quarter felt they had been adequately prepared for sex education in school to have comprehensive understanding of sexual consent. Friendships is more important. The report examined students' experience of sex and relationships and said the findings challenged some of the stereotypes about student life, which was less hedonistic and then it's sometimes supposed. The survey of undergraduates carried out August 2020 suggested 43% had not had sex before going to university and 25% had never intimately kissed anyone. Among male students, the survey claimed 66% had not had sex during their time as a student, and 53% of the female students had not had sex during their university years. Among all students, 11% were voluntarily abstaining from sex and 2/3 were not currently in a relationship. Friendships seem to be more important, with 58% of students saying it was more important to make friends rather than to find people to have sex with when first going to university. This is actually quite nice to hear that students are more interested in business than pleasure. Friendship seemed to be more important, with 58% of students saying it was more important to make friends. About a third of the students have never been in any intimate relationship with sexual or non-sexual or kissed someone on a night out in their university years. Almost a third said they currently watch pornography, but this was twice as likely among men than women. Reports said it aimed to provide more reliable evidence about students' sex lives, but claims were often more salacious and eliminating. It showed that the caricature of the irresponsible students have to be redrawn. Nick Hillman, the Institute's director, said the findings could help students navigate what is a key transition point in their lives. By telling students about the experience of the peers, we hope the results will make it easier for them to make informed decisions about their own lives. Before I move on, I just want to give a shout out to, there's a lot more suicides there is in men. I'm not going to start being sexist or putting allegations up against women. It's not what I do, but it could be due to parent alienation. It could be to male stupidity. I don't know what it's down to. But one thing I want to do, I'm not clamping down on anything. I just want to give you a guidance. If you come to a despair of your life where you feel like every life's hurdle's been thrown at you, there's no support, and you're asking for support, I'm going to give you the only support you're going to get. There's no actual physical support out there, apart from your loved ones around you trying to give you a bit of support. And you say, look, time and forbearance is going to be the only cure. The only way you can get through any pain in life, no matter what you're facing, because there ain't going to be no one going, here's £1 million, go and sort your life out. It's not going to happen. You got to work for it. You got to wake up one day and you've got to keep your mind active. It's important. The mind is the most powerful tool that any human can have. You're suffering, I know, lost nan, lost granddad, lost mum, lost father, lost brother, lost sister. You're suffering a breakup in a marriage, breakup in a relationship. Your kids moved out of home, you've fallen out with your son or your daughter. You're suffering mental health for whatever reason. You can't change it. All you can do is change yourself. You got to better yourself, keep your mind focused, keep your mind active. The only support you're going to get off the government, when I say government, government got all different constitutions, infrastructure, you got the doctors, you got the hospital, you can ask them for support. I'm suffering depression, I need help, I need support, I need some scaffolding to hold me up. No one's going to hold you up right. All you can get is a phone number, NHS emergency number, call 999. Essex County Council number, ask for adult support. Call the Samaritans, National Domestic Abuse Helpline, National Citizens Advice Helpline. They can give you numbers to call, and when you call them, they're not going to give you physical help. They can give you as much help as you can get coming by to Proclamation News and Gatherence, airing your story. I can point you exactly the right direction. I've been life despair ain't life despair for me. I've been in a happy place for a long time. I've got myself an adult learning. I had new aspirations, I had new gains. I've always got something to gain in life. Media studies was my plan A back in 1996. I've always had computers and everything to fall back in. Media studies, as you can see, you're sitting there now looking, thinking, his studio way he's made it looks professional, it looks phenomenal. That's because media studies is my A game. So I'm just saying, everyone's got aspirations. Go out there and get it. If you're on a building site and building's not for you, you want to do something a bit more amicable for yourself to retire when you're older. You can get to 70, you're laying bricks or you're digging a hole. You can't do it no more. You can't physically do it no more. I've got an illness, secondary Raynaud's disease. I knew building wasn't a life job for me. I knew it's going to come to an end. So I'm using my mental power rather than my physical power. And the outside is just phenomenal because you're just going to see it day in, day out, talking about the ideas of the world. Let's talk about how do you get through your life? What is life about? What is life about? If we could do like a spidergram, what is life about? Why do you wake up in the morning? what is your reason to wake up in the morning? You know, you want to thrive in something, whatever you do. But, you know, the reason a lot of people wake up in the morning is mainly compassion. Compassion. Money as well, isn't it? Compassion. Money. You need money to, you need to go to work. You need to get money. You need to support your family, to support, put clothes on yourself. You need to pay your bills. It's compassion. Compassion is one of the biggest things that you need to wake up in the morning. You need to show that your mum that, or your father, or your son, or your daughter, or your brother, or your sister. You need to wake up in the morning and think, yeah, I'm waking up to show my sister I'm still able. I'm still able. So there you go. You know, you're still. It's still a reason to wake up for everyone the next day, isn't there? Absolutely, ladies and gents. Anyway, before we head off, I just want to say thank you all for coming through. I might have my friend, me and mate Aidan have some great discussions. I might have him back on tonight. I'm not sure what he's up to tonight, or if anyone else would like to join the show and talk about anything. Talk about domestic abuse, talk about business, public austerity. You know, with this COVID, is your business still bringing the money in? Why COVID's? If you've got an online store that you can sell your products. But first of all, actually, before I talk about the next subject, I want to give a shout out to a sponsor, www.relax-uk.com. www.relax-uk.com. I mean, I'm one of these people that if I advertise something, I need to know qualitative evidence. I got a product from www.relax.uk.com. Vitamin C. Who would have thought that you pay for what you get in vitamins or vitamin C, nutrition that you need for your everyday use? You know, it's like this vitamin C is like the equivalent. You got a sports car, top of the range Ferrari, and they say you got to put unleaded in it. You're not going to go to Tesco's to buy their petroleum from there, because it's you know, it's probably mixed in with a lot of aerosol, a lot of different gases that ain't got the same as a BP garage. BP garage has got more purified, unleaded petrol. You're not going to go to Tesco's and buy their cheap make. You're going to go to BP to fill your sports engine up. That's what I'm saying. You're paying for what you get. So you buy some vitamin C. There's other stuff on there. You know, it's good for the mind. Relax is very, very good for like a neurology treatment. They've got a lot of neurology treatment stuff on there. So if anyone's got any back problems, could be back problems leading to a lot of other mental health stress. You know, www.relax-uk.com. I use the neurology treatment because Brainard is affecting not just my hands, my feet, up my legs, and in my back. So if any, you know, I'm giving you guys, if you know anyone that's ill and need a bit of support with their back treatment, maybe you've got a bad neck, anything like that, they suffer with headaches, look no further. Believe me. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Yes, before I go, Conservatives membership. I'm talking to you about Conservative membership before May the 6th election. Big part of the world's oldest political movement. Been going for decades upon decades. William Ewart Gladstone. You know, we're talking decades and decades. Maurice Macmillan. You know, we just go on and on and on for the prime ministers from, you know, from decades and decades ago. It's not even worth contemplating and talking for days. But anyway, under 26 is £5 a year. £5 a year to become part of a Conservative political movement. Standing part of membership, all associated benefits is offered at a special £5 rate for those aged under 26. Standard membership is £25 a year for the likes of me and you. Members play an active role in the party, can attend our annual conference and receive voting rights in the party elections after 3 months of membership. All from £25 per year, or just £2.9 per year, which I do. I pay monthly. It's more amicable for me. I don't want to pay lump sum. Armed forces is 15. If you're in the armed forces, is £15 a year. I'm not sure about a veteran. Maybe the same if you're a veteran. If you ring up and ask. Standard membership and all associated benefits is offered at a reduced rate for serving former members of the armed forces. What do you get if you pay for your membership? You want to know what you get. Do I get fish and chips? What do I get? Can I get involved with the Conservative? Can I help with the ideology of the world? Where's the national resources getting spent? You know, you want to put your word through. You want to make a petition. You want to get people to support it. You need to know, get involved. You need to make a petition. Maybe your schools are not nourishing your kids properly. Maybe your schools are not doing enough fitness for your children. Maybe your schools are not educating your kids enough. You need to make a petition or speak to a local constituent MP and make change within your school, in your vicinity. But you need to get involved. If you don't get involved, you're not going to understand, are you? What do our memberships get you? Helps us win elections. All of your subscription goes towards our campaigns. Choose candidates and vote in leadership elections. Take part in our campaign groups, like the Conservative Women's Organisation or Young Conservatives. Meet like-minded people and make a difference to our country. Come to conference. Join our MPs, councillors and activists in the biggest event of the Conservative Canada. What do you think? I'm kind of like a councillor, an activist. Exactly that. I've got every skill that I need to do. I'm live every single day with absolute hundreds, thousands of people tuning in daily. Jen, you still here listening, girl? And lovely to see you come through. I appreciate it. Everyone on Castbox, thank you so much. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Proclamation News and Gatherence. Get the latest from inside the party with regular members, updates and exclusive member invites. Influence party policy by giving feedback on policy briefs. Connect with local Conservatives. As a member, you become part of your local association. Support local campaigns and attend social events with members just like you. Stand for election. If I want to stand for election and I want the democracy to support me, I need to come up with some good advice for the youth of the day. Support the young adults from offending, from re-offending. Exactly what my aim is. And you guys can just listen to my wisdom and my knowledge I can bring to the table of success. Because it doesn't come with me making people victims, because I never have done that. I've never been that way in kind. Everything I've done has been etiquette with sense and pragmatic. No, etiquette in style and pragmatic in sense. I always think about my actions. Stand for election. Members of your have the opportunity to stand for election as Conservatives. So if you decide that you want to take part in our democracy, you can. Thank you all ever so much. Appreciate all you guys. We're also sponsored by, just before I shoot off, we are also sponsored by PSS Alarms. Very etiquette and pragmatic works carried out. All areas are covered, including central station monitoring provided. All work done according to insurance requirements. This is a friend of mine's company. He's carried out works in Harry Kane's stepmother's house in Hertfordshire, Potter's Bar. He's carried out etiquette works in Essex, such as Casbah restaurant, and many more big businesses. Please call Tariq Khan. His contact details are 07908 216 142. I'll repeat, 07908 216 142. Ask for Tariq Khan and mention Professor Johnson for an extra discount. Installation and maintenance of intruder alarms, fire alarms, CCTV. All works guaranteed and certified to SSARB standards. 24-hour call-out service. Can provide CCTV for pubs, clubs, restaurants, and new business setup. Secure your business. Hello, Harish. No, thank you ever so much, Harish, for following my thing. I appreciate you coming through. Mention Professor Johnson for extra discount. Secure your home, secure your business. Your safety and priority in your business are paramount. So think safety, think first. Secure your equity. Secure the safety of your family as well, which is paramount. It's important, isn't it? Absolutely. How you doing there, Havish? Thank you for coming through. Appreciate everyone, all the listeners coming through. I don't know who else is listening on Facebook, YouTube. I can't quite see. All I want to say is I appreciate all the support we've had today. It's just going to build back. I was going to say build back better. It's in the media. It sounds like I'm a copycat. I've got my own ideology. You know, my ideology, my own formation, how I want to tackle the current climate, you know. People's skills, people problems, victims of crime, victims of bullying, cyberbullying as well. You know, breaching ASBO on someone's social media, thinking, I don't know, adding our keyboard model for no apparent reason. It's not big, it's not clever. Why do it? Anyway, I just want to say thank you. God bless. Take care, and I'll be back every day. This is me, what I do every day. So, you know, I just want to say thanks. I appreciate you all, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Don't forget to check out www.relax-uk.com. Thanks, guys. Speak soon. God bless. Have a good day.